This past Veterans Day at Veterans Home Care, we had the privilege of calling and talking to veterans and surviving spouses and thanking them for their service. One of the things that I find fascinating about this job is that every day is Veterans Day here. And we have the honor and the privilege every day of thanking veterans and their surviving spouses for their service to our country. And there's no greater privilege. My daughter asked me to be on a float to honor veterans during the homecoming parade. And as we're driving down Main Street, people would yell out to us and say, "Thank you for your service." And I responded by saying, "Thank you." Well, there was a Vietnam veteran right next to me, and he became a little agitated with that. And he said, "Why do you keep saying thank you?" And I said, "Well, it's always been awkward for me." And so I just respond by saying thank you. And he said, have you ever tried saying you're welcome? And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, why don't you try that?" So the next person yells out, "Thank you for your service." And I said, "You're welcome." And I looked over to him, and approvingly he smiled at me. And he said, "How did that feel?" And I said, "Well, that felt good." So I was telling this story to the state chaplain of the Missouri National Guard, Colonel Gary Gilmore. And he said, "Well, I can top that story." And I said, "Well, what is it?" And he said, "Well, I was walking down the concourse at the Atlanta airport. And he said, I saw a Marine walking toward me in his utility uniform, and he was missing his left arm. And so I said to him, "Thank you for your service." And he said, this Marine just locked eyes with me and said, "You're worth it." And wow, just very, very powerful. So during the day when we called veterans here at Veterans Home Care on Veterans Day, I would say, "Thank you for your service," and they'd say, "Thank you," and I said, "You're worth it."